had dinner. I figured I could just knock this video out. Chapter 2, my time in NXT Takeover. The good before the destruction. But before we get into chapter 2, if you guys could please chop that like button and hit the subscribe, I will greatly appreciate it. And if you guys are returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for continuing to support me in this channel, and whether it be video games, cooking, vlog stuff, thank you guys so much for checking me out and continuing to support me. So let's jump into it. So my time in NXT was exceptional. I reported in September of 2018. That was the first time I walked into the PC to start my first day. And the first day was awesome because that was when we came in to take the class photo and to take our individual photos. And it was cool because Keith's class was right before mine. So he did all of this like introductions and pretty much the first day, like recruitment day. And so he told me all about it. And his class was, if I was September, his was in July. So he kind of told me how everything worked. So I kind of already had an idea, but it was really cool to go through it myself. And actually, I think, so the first day, you go over the do's and don'ts of the PC, the gym, the regimen, all of that stuff. And there are a mix of wrestlers from the independents and non-wrestlers. So you kind of have to talk broadly for everyone. Like, they don't really go through like the wrestling 101. Like, they never really go through like the wrestling etiquette. So that's something that, you know, the independent wrestlers would it would be up to them to kind of lead the non-wrestlers on how to, you know, make sure you shake hands and introduce yourself to everybody that you don't know, this, that, and the third. It was really cool though, because in my class I had people that I've known in the indies, so it was not as scary as I thought it was gonna be. And you know, I have a bunch of friends that was already there at the time. We got Shayna, Candice, Tegan, so I got a lot of my friends already there, so it was more exciting for me rather than nervous new girl, I don't know anybody type feels. So the first day you get the talent handbook, and this goes through everything from like the medical staff to all of the talent relations app information, dress code, how to request time off, things like that. So it's kind of just like pretty much just a little guide on not just business, but also who to contact if you need help with anything, who's the point of contact for what. They have everything from even like social media etiquette, but even like transitioning from NXT to main roster is in this handbook. So they give us this, plus, you know, the little goodie bag of just all of your WWE gear and stuff like that, which is really cool. It was awesome because when I reported, like the first week, like the first time going to training, I was in Serena Deeb's class, and I've wrestled her in the indies and I love her so much. She was so kind in the indies, and even when I was put in her class, she never changed. She's always been so kind and supportive, and it was just so nice to be in her class, because I learned a lot from her just from our match. I think this was like 2014 or 2015, but I learned a lot from her in that match, so I was very eager to actually be in her class to learn what else I can learn from her. I said learn a lot, but I mean, I don't know how else to say it. She's an amazing trainer, amazing trainer. So I was put in her class, and it was like a reunion, honestly, because, you know, she was there. Jessamine Duke was there. It was just like, the first class was awesome. I loved it. And because people either from the indies knew who I was or just knew that I was best friends with Shayna and Jay Duke, everyone seemed very welcoming to me. Like you always hear these rumors, like I don't know how it is now, but back then, you know, you always wonder, oh my God, are people like backstabbing each other and trying to step on each other to get ahead? But when I came in, it felt like everyone was helping each other so everyone can win. You know what I mean? I need to stop. I'm doing a video, Stannis. You just have to play. So yeah, it was cool because like that intimidation of meeting the different coaches that I haven't met before and the different people that I've seen before on TV, or I've seen watching NXT shows and stuff like Bianca Belair, that was intimidating. But the minute I met them, like, they were so welcoming. Bianca was so sweet. Like, she has such a star power that it's intimidating. But the minute you meet her, she's just so open and just caring. She just wants to take care of everybody. And that's something she is someone I consider a friend outside of wrestling. Coming up into NXT and the PC was very warm and welcoming. And throughout my time there, I learned so much. Like, the biggest issue in the indies for me was psychology. But being at the PC, not only, training basic wrestling stuff, but having Skull. Skull is pretty much when, you take a day and you sit for like 2 or 3 hours to watch previous matches of yours, whether it be on the coconut loops or whatever, and kind of study what happened on film. So I learned so much in Skull. Little things that I never noticed that I did. Little stuff that I did in the indies that I knew I had to break the habit of. It was just really cool to see people like Serena and Sarah to give us their input on how to continue doing what I'm good at, but to make it mold well in the WWE world. So honestly, the PC was beneficial throughout everything. I came into the PC knowing that I didn't know everything, and I wanted to be a sponge and to absorb everything that I learned. And there were some aspects that was hard, like, you create habits in the indies that you don't even think about, but then you have to break in WWE. But repetition, that fixes everything. And even going to coconut loops to know what the crowd reacts to, what the crowd likes, knowing the difference between, an NXT crowd versus an indie crowd and things like that was very cool to learn. And coming into WWE, I knew, even though I spent almost a decade in the indies, I knew I was coming back. I was coming into WWE bottom of the barrel. So I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting special treatment or anything because I was an indie darling. Like, I knew I was coming in at the bottom of the barrel. I had to do everything as if I was brand new. And I was okay with that. So when I was told I was debuting on TV, I think my first match was with Aaliyah, who I've also wrestled in the indies, and it was, she hasn't changed either. She was so awesome. And when I was told that I was going to be wrestling her for my first debut on NXT, she was so giving and was just so excited to just work together again because it's been years. And I'm telling you, my time at NXT, like, I got nothing bad to say about it. And so I wrestled Aaliyah for my debut match, and it was so scary because even though I've wrestled on TV before, with Impact and doing stuff with Ring of Honor, like, nothing felt like being in that NXT ring. But it was so freaking cool. And so after that, it was cool to, have a feud with Bianca, which we became closer. And aside from just work associates, we became friends. So Bianca was really easy and fun to work with, and she helped me push my limit because I was in the mindset in NXT when I first came there that I had to do things perfectly. And I don't think in real life I am a perfectionist, but I know for sure my time in NXT, I just wanted to be perfect. I wanted everything to be right. I just wanted to be the perfect wrestler, the perfect character, the perfect employee. And so she knew that I was always second guessing everything and trying to make sure everything made sense. And okay, but they told me that I need to do this and I need to stop doing this. And she was just really cool to just be like, just do what you do. Like, ain't nobody can take that away from you. So she helped me push the boundaries and to slowly become comfortable in my own skin again in the WWE world. And then I had my feud with Shayna, who is my best friend, and we lived together and we've wrestled each other in the indies, and I was like her third or fourth match in the indies, so I was helping guide her. And then when we started our feud, she was guiding me, which was really cool because she has more experience with WWE wrestling than I did. So I'm like, dude, I'm just going to follow your lead, but I know that we can kick each other's ass and we could just be chill after the match. So it was cool to have that feud, and I never thought that I would have a takeover match. But my first and only takeover match was with my best friend. Bet. I was totally in the mood for that. So it was cool because, like, I remember when we were told that we were going to Takeover and we were going to have to build this story. It was like, okay, Shayna and Jess and Marina has always been, they've been the horsewoman. Like, it's always been that group. So every match that Shayna has had, Jess and Marina has always interfered or done something. So it was cool to like implement, okay, well, what if I jumped Jessamine, Duke, and Marina, so it's just me and you for Takeover, like, and then Shayna allowed me to do the hand stomp thing, which I thought was fucking awesome because I don't know, she doesn't allow anyone to just do that. So I thought that was really fucking cool that she let me do it. And I remember I wanted to so Shayna has this foam brick that she would throw at the TV when the Vikings would lose, which would be about like 90% of the time. So I remember Joe, who was pretty much the head creative writer at NXT at the time. I was like, Joe, listen, I know that I'm going to be taking out Jess and Marina before Takeover. Like, let me use this brick on Jay Duke. Just let me use a brick and it's going to go off like it's never been done before. Let's do it. Let's do something different. And then Joe's like, we don't want an attempted murder on TV, And I was like, but it's Jess. She's my best friend. If I'm going to do an attempted murder on TV, it's going to be with her. So I thought that was really funny. But like, Jess was super excited. Marina was super easy to like take out. Like, both of them are awesome. And if anything in NXT, I will always cherish the friendships that I made with, people like Bianca, and being able to do something at a high caliber like Takeover with my best friends. And so even though at Takeover, one, we were placed in a really bad spot on the card, in my opinion, but I messed up because with high pressure situations, either I do really, really well or I just shit the bed. That's just how I am. And I shit the bed. I forgot something and that was on me. But, the fact that we were in Toronto, the fact that my family flew out for this match, mom, my sister, my dad. First of all, this was the first time my whole family's been together in years. I just had everyone I loved in the crowd watching. I had my best friend who was my opponent for that match. And it was just, even though I shit the bed, like that's something I'm always going to hold on near and dear to my heart, because I had everyone I loved, even everyone was there. And growing up, when I told my parents that I wanted to become a WWE superstar, they thought I was going through a phase. I was a tomboy at the time, so they're like, okay, well, she'll get over it in a couple months, whatever. And from the moment I started wrestling in the indies and wrestling in like a barn and armories, to making it into Impact that my parents, my dad and my mom were able to come and see, to an NXT Takeover, like it was just so fucking cool that they were able to sit out in the crowd, watch the package that they put for me and Shayna on the big screen, and to watch us live. And there was even like a little behind the scenes documentary that we did, that I can watch, as you know, with my family anytime. Like there's actual footage of that memory now. And no matter what happened after that moment, that was a moment where I knew that I've accomplished my dream. Whether, I never do anything on WrestleMania, whether, I get fired the next day after this NXT Takeover, I accomplished my dream because I'm in WWE and my family was able to come and watch me wrestle in an NXT Takeover match. And that was cool. That was really, really cool. So anyway, before I get emotional, let's move forward. So after that, I've had, random matches here and there. I was a part of the WarGames that I was taken out with. But like, when I was told I was in WarGames, before Hunter told us as a group, Hunter and Sarah pulled me aside and they told me, hey, this is the deal. You're going to be in WarGames, but we're going to have you get taken out before the match. We just wanted to let you know, just so you don't feel like you did something wrong, just so you don't feel that like you're not important in this match. And to me, like throughout my whole time in NXT, Hunter and like Sarah and all the coaches and stuff, like Hunter especially, you could tell that he really gave a fuck about all of us. Like he really fucking cared about us and our feelings and our health. Like he was so comfortable. If there was something that bothered me, I would comfortably be able to go up to him and talk to him about it. At least in my experience, like he went out of his way to make sure that like, to let me know that I'm good. This is nothing against me, but I'm letting you know before we tell the group about the first ever women's WarGames. So I appreciated that beyond anything else, because honestly, if they would have told me that in the middle of telling us, oh yeah, you're in the middle, you're gonna be a part of the first females WarGames, but you're gonna be taken out, sorry, then I probably would have felt some kind of way. But the fact that they pulled me aside and told me everything first before telling the group, that means something to me. So I could say I was a part of the first ever women's WarGames. I mean, it would have been really cool to actually be a part of the match. But like I said, to be considered to be one of the women in that, for one, leading up to it, it was just so fun just to do, the photo shoots and the promos and everything with the group. It was awesome. And it was a great bunch of girls for that. Like me and Shayna talk all the time that this NXT version, in my opinion, was probably the best like female group. Like you have Kaylee, Candice, Rhea, Charlie, Tegan, like Shayna. You had these amazing top tier talented women from all over the world. Io, the best. I am so lucky to be a part of NXT during this time because it was the best experience ever, with the best group of women that I know that I can go and kick ass and have A+ matches with any of them. And they were willing to go just as hard as I was willing to go. That being said, my match with Io for the ladder match, so I don't consider myself a hardcore wrestler. I definitely am not a fan of hardcore wrestling. Like, I'll do it if it makes sense and if it elevates the story. But I have experience in hardcore wrestling. So when I was told that I was going to be doing the ladder match for the WarGames Advantage with Io, I'm like, okay, great. Like, I love Io and we've wrestled before and we killed it. A ladder match, easy. We could do that. And I'm not going to be a part of the women's WarGames. So I'm going to go all out in this fucking match. And so this was Io's first ladder match. From what she told me, this was her first match. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. Like, keep it easy, simple. Like, I'll come up with ideas. I'll be watching some stuff. So we came up with some really cool, innovative stuff. And then, like, I busted my nose. Which is fine. I think it added to the match, and I don't think I've ever busted my nose before that, but my adrenaline was pumping so much that I didn't even know I was bleeding. I remember the ladder hitting my face, and I throw the ladder and I land, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I just feel something cold on my face, so I thought I sneezed or something, and I just got snot all over me because I'm gross. But then I open my eyes and then it's just like pink. So I'm like, did I pop a vessel in my eye or something? So I turn over and I get on all fours. And then that's when I start seeing the blood. And I'm like, huh, okay, well, the first thing that went into my head was make sure that my nose wasn't broken. So I'm like, okay, cool. My nose feel like it's okay. I mean, I have adrenaline, but if it was broken, I feel like I would have felt something. But as I'm seeing the blood go down, I'm checking my nose, I can breathe. And I'm just like, blood always adds to the match, so just let it keep coming down. Cool. Just keep it out of my hair. Legit. Like, I got blue hair. I ain't trying to be a redhead. So let me just move my hair out the way so everyone can see the blood. And the match gets stopped for that moment, just making sure that like I'm good. And I was told that if my nose doesn't stop bleeding, they're gonna have to stop the match. And I'm like, oh shit. So I had the ref, he's like putting Vaseline on my nose and he's checking me, making sure that I'm good. I'm like, dude, I'm good. Let's go. Like, this is money. Let's go. So the doc comes and he's just like, okay, well, if you don't stop bleeding, we're gonna have to stop. I'm like, it's not even bleeding anymore. It's fine. So then I guess Hunter on the mic or in the earpiece of the ref was asking if I, one, wanted to continue, and two, if we can stick with the original plan. Like, if I would be comfortable sticking with the original plan. I said, fuck yes. All right, let's do it. So we continue, we go on. Had to change a couple things because of that, but legit, we just bounced right back into what was needed. Like, I know Io was worried, but it wasn't her fault at all. And Io is so cute. I did not want to worry her. But we get to the end of the match, and then I take that bump from the top of the ladder onto another ladder. And the adrenaline was pumping so much that when Kaylee came out and she grabbed the ladder, I looked down, she looked up, and she has like the mean face and I have this shocked face, and all she's doing is, and I said, and then she said, and then we went. So like, that's how I know that I have this amazing chemistry with everyone else, is because we don't have to say a freaking word to each other. It's just eye contact, and we just know what we're thinking with each other. So like, looking down and seeing Kaylee was just a moment of feeling like I'm good. Like with Io, I'm good. I can't really see much because I got blood on my face, but I see Kaylee, I know I'm gonna be good. So let's do it. So that happened, get to the back, and like, oh my goodness. I remember they were just like, just let the crowd know you're okay. So I'm like, okay. So my music is playing, camera's done recording, but I'm like dancing, letting the crowd know I'm okay. And then Keith comes out, which I didn't know he was gonna come out. So back at Full Sail, backstage, they have this auditorium set up. So if you're hanging out for the show, and if you're not on the show or you're done with your stuff, you can go to the auditorium and watch the rest of the show and just chill. So he was in the auditorium. I guess he told me when he saw the blood come out, he booked it to go backstage. And so finally, when the match ended, he came to check on me, make sure I was okay. And he got on a knee, and I was like, oh my God, please don't, please don't propose. Don't propose. I don't want a wrestling proposal, please. But I guess he was just like elevating me or something, but I'm glad that he didn't propose. But it was cool to like have him come out and check on me. And then once we get into the back, like Hunter immediately run over. He's like, oh my God, you're such a fucking badass. Are you okay? Is there anything we could do for you? That was like I'm telling you, Hunter, in my experience, Hunter cares so fucking much about us. He actually gives a shit, which to me, like, he can ask me to do another freaking hardcore match and I would say yes, because I know he wouldn't put me in a situation where it would be unsafe and stupid. But yeah, Hunter, like, to see him, because I've seen him like come and meet people once they come in the back, like after a really good match or something like that. And like for him to do that to me was just like, I felt like I fulfilled what I needed to in that match. And it was good. It was an experience, but goddamn, am I real happy to be involved in that match with Io and Kaylee, and for Hunter to deem me a badass and to check on me like that. That goes a long way. But after that, it was just smooth sailing on just doing some, I know that wrestling does this. So either you're getting a push or you're just coasting. And so after the women's WarGames and doing a couple matches here and there, I was just coasting, which I've done everything I've wanted to in NXT. Like I would have loved to be champion, but like I said, I've always known myself to be as a hand, as a co-star, not the star. So I knew that like me as a champion was like, okay. But hell, I got an NXT Takeover match. I got a bomb ass ladder match. And then I had a fucking street match with Candace, who we wrestled years before, and we both do hardcore matches, and it was like, I stay living for matches with my friends. So NXT, that is my NXT experience, and So my experience at NXT was tremendous. I got no complaints. Hunter is a fantastic leader. Candice was one of the locker room leaders, and it was just a great group of people to work with. Like, when I retire and think back on my career, I will always remember that I had the best time of my life with the best group that I could have ever asked for. And my time in NXT, it was the best situation, the best environment that I could have asked for. And I regret nothing in my time in NXT. So after that, then I get called up without really knowing I got called up. And that is where we're going to start chapter 3. The process of getting called up, because that's a whole ass chapter right there. Boy. Stick around for that one, guys. Because as high as we got for NXT, man, is it going to come straight down. So, I will see you guys on the next one. Buckle up.
I'm going turning, keep holding me down. Yeah. 수면이 더 비추는 이 세상을 봐.